R-E-A-D. Oh, hi! Welcome back to our Super Science book series. Let me show you what book I'm reading today. I'm reading How Rocket Learned to Read. Let's get started. Rocket loves to read. He loved to chase leaves and chew on sticks, and he loved to listen to the birds sing. Every fall morning, after chasing leaves, Rocket would lie down under his favorite spot under his favorite tree. He would sniff the neighborhood's smells and settle in for a good nap. But one morning, a yellow bird startled Rocket. "Ah, my first student, wonderful," she sang. Rocket was confused. "Student? But I'm a teacher." And the bird interrupted, "Then you must be my student." Rocket found it hard to argue with this bird. "I'm so glad you saw my sign," the bird chirped. "Oh yes, I can see it," Rocket said, "but I don't know how to read." "Can't read? Fantastic," she waved her wings. "Welcome to my classroom." "But I came here to just nap," Rocket said. No, there will be no napping in class," declared the bird, "except for during nap time." "Well then, I can take a nap over here," Rocket said. "I've had a very busy morning." "Not to worry, I'll be around all day," chirped the bird, "until the weather turns." As Rocket breathed in the crisp air, the yellow bird hung her banner. "Ah, wonderful, mighty, glorious alphabet," she marveled, "where it all begins." She opened up a book, the bird began to read. She sang out the story of an unlucky dog named Buster who lost his favorite bone. A cool breeze carried her lively voice across the yard. At first, Rocket was disturbed. But before long, he found himself captivated. To Rocket, the story was as delicious as the earthy smells of fall. It was as exciting as chasing leaves. He closed his eyes and listened to every word. As Buster dug and dug under the lilac bush, the bird read. He felt something familiar. Rocket waited. Was it the bone? He wondered, silently. Was it the bone? He called to the bird, more silently. Was it the bone? He hollered. Suddenly, he was rushing to the tree. Whoa, was it? But the yellow bird was gone. The next morning, Rocket arrived early. At last, the yellow bird appeared. "Hello, how wonderful to see you again in class." The bird chirped. "I can tell your waggy tail that you are well rested." "I'd like to hear the end of the story, please," said Rocket. "That seems like a fine way to start off class today," chirped the bird. She gave Rocket a name tag and began to read. Every day, Rocket returned to the little bird's classroom. In the morning, the bird taught him a new letter, until he had learned them all of the wonderful, mighty, glorious alphabet. Together, they sang out the sounds of each letter that it makes, and spelled the sounds they heard around them. With G and many R's, they spelled out Mr. Bark's growl, grrr. They spelled out the sound of the wind, which growing colder by the day, whoosh. Soon, they were spelling out words like fall, F-A-L-L, for the gusts of the year, and red, R-E-D, for the color of the leaves. And each afternoon, the bird read a story. She read stories about dogs and birds, and about the leaves changing color, and birds flying south for the winter. Then one day the weather turned, and the letter banner was gone. "See you again in the glorious spring," the bird sang. As she flew into the whirly sky, she called, "Don't forget, words are built one letter at a time." The days grew shorter, and the leaves fell from the trees. The grass became crunchy, and soon Rocket's library disappeared. He remembered the little bird's alphabet and practiced his letters. Rocket thought about the bird's sweet chirp while he sounded out words like dig, D-I-G, and wind, W-I-N-D, and cold, C-O-L-D. He made new friends and spelled out their names. Hello, Emma, E-M-M-A, and hi there, Fred, F-R-E-D. He spelled everything. Sun, S-U-N, and melt, M-E-L-T. When Rocket spelled mud, he knew that spring, as it always does, returned. The breeze blew warm and the grass grew green, and a new sign appeared. Class starts tomorrow, it said. Early the next morning, Rocket rushed to the classroom. As he waited, he spelled out WAG, W-A-G. Soon, the little bird arrived. "Ah, my star student," she sang. "How wonderful to see you. I can tell by your waggy tail that you are ready for class. Welcome back, Rocket," the sign said. Together, they began to read. They read stories about birds flying north for spring. They read about picnics in the warm sun. And they read about Buster, the lucky dog who found his bone under the lilac bush. And when they were done, they read again and again and again. A-G-A-I-N. I love this book, How Rocket Learned to Read, because I grew up reading this book, and I just think it's so cool because it talks about how Rocket, in the story, when the yellow bird comes, he doesn't know how to read, and then she teaches him something new. And then what he does is, even though she leaves for the winter, then he continues practicing what he learns and becomes really solid in spelling his words, and then he continues to practice them. And he shares what he's learned with his friends, like Fred and Emma, and he's having a lot of fun. And I think that you can learn new things. You need to keep asking questions and learning new things. And after you learn a new thing, keep on going with it. And then learn another thing. And share the things and your knowledge with people around you, because that's how we grow STEM. That someone across the earth isn't really that much different from you and me. There are always more discoveries to be made, and guess how those are made? By what if. People asking, what if? Random people, and just like ordinary people like you and me.
It was a